Hello everyone, welcome back to The Plane Guy with me, The Plane Guy, and in this video, this is going to be part 3 of my Aerosoft A330 tutorial series. Now the first thing I want to identify, and I do apologise about this, is how long this video is actually taken. Now unfortunately I did lose the original clip of me actually descending into Barcelona, and since attempts to try to redo it have actually failed, because for some odd reason now whenever I spawn the Aerosoft Airbus A330 at Madrid, my frames are practically non-existent. So unfortunately with that we have decided to do another flight. What we're doing here is we are flying an Aer Lingus A330. We're going from Dublin to Heathrow as the 17 Juliet. Now, first thing I want to talk to you about is some of the internal aspects of the aircraft. So if you're flying at night, you'll see this button here under the glare shield, and that can obviously turn up the brightness here. You've also got another light here for the brightness, and like I say, you've got various lights throughout the cockpit just in case you want to turn those on. But yes, how do we actually descend the aeroplane? How do we descend, approach and land the aircraft, sort of. You'll also have to excuse me as well, but recently my grammar has been absolutely horrible. Right, so quite simply we'll go ahead and we'll request some weather. So as you can see here we have Echo India Delta Whiskey, Echo Golf Lima Lima, and these are alternates here.
1000.
So we want to wait until we receive a company message on here, and that's going to let us know what the weather is going to be like. There's actually, here we go, we've got arrival latest, so we'll just request that. There we go, we've got that. Request print all, and as you can probably tell by now, I absolutely love this printer. So, having a look at Echo Golf Lima Lima, the wind is 100 at 9 knots, so more or less like we're going to use 09. And I am actually cheating slightly, because I did actually fly out of Heathrow slightly earlier, because at this moment in time it's currently about 20 past 8 in the evening UK time, and I actually took it from Heathrow about 2 o'clock, and it's been pretty much stable all day. So we're going to use 09 left today, but like I say, if you're not too sure of which runway to use, you can always rely on something like Vatastic, or if there's no ATC online, then you can use Flight Radar. So all the visibility, all the 9, so that's 10k plus. That's very helpful with adding our minimums relevant to our charts. No cloud detected, that's also very good. 6 degrees, QNH 1030, and no significant weather. So we're looking absolutely brilliant for Heathrow this evening. So what you next have to do is you have to go ahead and punch in all that information. So what you want to do is you want to go over to Perth here, hit next page, until you come to the APPR, the approach page, and this is where you need to enter all the information. So firstly, the QNH. Now if you are in America, this by default will come up with inches, okay? Actually, I tell a lie, I think it's changed when you move that across. Oh no. Well, I have flown in America before, and there you go, as you can see it changes there like so. So yeah, I knew I got that wrong one. So yeah, make sure you have that set. If you want it in inches because you are flying in the US, set it to HG. If you want it in HPA, put it to HPA. Simple. Right, and the temperature was 6 degrees. The wind is 110 at 9 knots. Like so. Transition level is 70. Well then, because ATC is online, they're going to give us some information relative to that. Now, how you actually go and punch in your flight plan, very, very simple. What you want to do is you want to come over to your actual flight plan itself, and it will actually give you the 4-letter airport code, the ICAO code. In this case, it's Echo Golf Lima Lima, but I've already punched it in. So let me just show you how to do that. So in this instance, because we've already loaded up the approach, it's given us 09 left. However, in most instances, if you've not completed the full flight plan, like I say, it'll come as Echo Golf Lima Lima. Either way, all you need to do is click on it like so, and then hit arrival. Very, very simple, but I'm just going to do it from here. And as compared to the Boeing system, you have to actually load in your landing runway first, okay? And what you may see on some charts is that some types of approaches may be Yankee or Zulu type of approaches, so decide which one you want to do beforehand. But for us, it's the ILS 09 left, but let's just say we want 09 right, and as you can see here, you can actually load up all your arrivals. So I'm just going to put in something like this randomly, and I'll show you how you can actually insert it. So what we're actually going to be doing today is the ILS 09 left on the Bovington 1 Bravo. So we'll just punch that in like so. Now as you can see here, we have a flight plan discontinuity. As you can see, it's coming up here. Quite simply, to pull them together, just in case you have this problem, you hit on this one here, and you just put in the next waypoint like so. So we're going to Nugra. And that's pretty much it. Very, very simple. And then what I personally do is I'll go over flight plan just to check, make sure it's all entered correctly, and that all the altitude constraints and speed constraints, stuff like that, are in as appropriate. So, just loading it up now on my separate screen here, the Bovington 1 Bravo. So, from Nugra, it is to Honolulu. And as you can see, that has not actually gone in. So, we're going to put that in. So, Nugra, oh no, we don't have Honolulu, excuse me, that's just my fault. And this is something I'll explain in just a minute. We're actually going from Nugra to Tobit to Soppit to Westcott, Whiskey Charlie Oscar, then out towards Bovington, and then usually from there you get radar vectors. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight in for the vectors, as you see here, and we'll also put the screen into plan mode to better show you how it looks, as you can see here. So we're just going to join those up with just the same way I showed you before. So we're looking for Charlie India 09 left, like so. Super. Now, because also I've got my charts out, I'm going to put in my minimums, which for ILS runway 09 left today is 179, and I'm just getting booked by ATC. So just give me a second. 179, like so. Actually, no, that's incorrect. It's 279, because we're going to be using the category 1 today. Right, that is all gone in very, very nicely. Right, so that was London calling 127.1. So we'll just give those a ring. Right, now we've got... Now, as you can see here, we've just got another discontinuity error. We'll just put that in. Now, just in case you don't know where to descend, it will actually come up with an arrow, as you see there. So that's where we need to start descending. Lone Control, good evening. It's a Shamrock 17 Juliet, flight level 330. We'll just wait for ATC to... Bovington 1 Bravo for 09 left, 17 Juliet. Right. Okay, so all the destination information has been entered, and you're pretty much ready to go on the descent. I'm just going to put in some... right, so I'm just going to put in a radial here, because I always do. And we can complete the checklist. So, we'll have the descent checklist, please.
Descent preparation checklist.
Seatbelt signs.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Landing information.
Received.
Yep, that's entered.
Altimeter.
Standard.
Landing elevation.
Checked.
Vero radio.
Checked.
TCAS.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Now, also, if you want to do, you need to make sure you have your order brake set up. Now, because for us today, we are landing on 09 left, and we can pretty much use the entire runway, and because we are lightweight, I'm going to use low. Now, I don't recommend descending the airplane until you're quite near this mark itself. For me, in a Boeing, I'd usually descend at least 20 feet before our top of descent point, but in my experience, Airbuses are quite efficient. So, for me, I will not descend until we're actually around this point, but I will call ATC for descent clearance shortly. Oh dear. Say, don't be swearing on frequency. That is a very, very bad thing. Now, also, if you want to do, one of the things you can do is you can get the 80s for the airport. But then, obviously, one of the problems you've got is that we don't have a secondary frequency. So, it can be very tricky to try and get it and remain on this same frequency as well. But I'm just going to call for descent now and we'll have a quick listen. Charlotte 17 Juliet, request descent please. Descent flight level 200, Charlotte 17 Juliet. Right, so, quite simply, turn down. Descent flight level 200, Charlotte 17 Juliet. Descent flight level 200, it's the same thing. Right, so obviously we're going down now. There's two ways you can do this. Left clicking is going to go onto descent mode. As you see here, we've got this green dot. Now this is your vertical profile. Now if you want to go down quickly, you can have optimum descent. Now in this situation here, because we are still slightly high, I'm actually going to go with optimum descent. Actually no, I'm not. I'm just yes, we are going to need optimum descent, but if you actually have a look here, it does actually go back. What's it doing? Do apologise for this, everyone. But yeah, if you go into optimum descent, the aircraft is going to go down at its quickest possible descent speed, as you can see here. But I'm actually going to put it into descent mode, and as you can see, it slows it down. Now, if you want to try and follow your vertical profile as best you can, you're better off putting it on descent, which is what I'm going to do here. So it actually slows it down a bit, because we don't need to have a very quick descent today. Okay, we're not in range of Heathrow yet. We'll have a bit of a listen later on. But then, personally, I don't recommend doing this, because I'm just having a look now, and pretty much all of London is manned. And considering the fact that we don't have a secondary comm frequency and we are in busy airspace, it's maybe best that we avoid doing such a thing. But we can actually tune the next frequency, which will be Heathrow on 119.72. Okay, so really at this stage, there's not really too much left to do. Like I say, you can just need to let the aircraft climb. But then just in case you do find that you are in a situation like this where you're off the vertical profile, one of the things you can do is like so. So we will ask for flight level 300, we'll hold it there, and we can wait for the green dot to come down. But for me, I'm not going to do that. I'm still going to continue to descend to 200, but I'm going to continue it on DES. But we're just going to leave it on descent mode, so that way it maintains about 1,000 feet. So that's quite a nice descent rate. Leipzig. And it also looks like we've got traffic right behind us here. Sun flight level 80, level by Bovingdon, 17 Juliet. Right, so we need to go down to 80, level by Bovingdon. Now, that green dot is likely to change when we enter this. Actually, it probably won't, but still, we'll put in 8,000 feet, and be very careful when you do something like this, because you always want to make sure that you got that dash in place. So say if you're going down to somewhere like, I don't know, you need to do 2,500, if you put it in like this, it will actually register as speed. Well, it does in my situation sometimes, so be very careful when you do that, okay? Because this first input here will go in as speed, so make sure you are watching what you do here. And as you can actually see here, we are actually slightly a bit too high, so you do need to keep that in mind sometimes, okay? Okay, and I'm actually going to go to optimum descent now. Help get it down a little bit quicker. And we are slowing down, so I'll put a bit of the speed brakes out. Okay. As you can see now, the aircraft is descending quite rapidly. 3,500 feet vertical descent rate, that's quite a lot. And as you can see, we're starting to come back on the vertical profile nicely. Good thing we've got the seatbelt signs on. See now we're only about 1,500 feet from our vertical profile, and once we reach the vertical profile I'm going to put the aircraft back into descent mode. And you may see this D here on the actual magenta, that indicates our decel point. Okay, so we'll go descent. Okay, you may get that warning. All you really need to do is just reset your speed brakes. That's all. So now the aircraft should actually descend on the vertical profile. That was probably for me. Director 119720, Shamrock 17 Juliet, thanks, bye bye. Alright, so we'll just head over there now. Now, unfortunately, this is one of the things I did. I didn't actually, even though we're dialed 8,000 feet in, you do need to confirm it. Like so. So we'll just leave it on descent like that, and it's gone in as blue, so we're absolutely fine now. And I'll tell you what, we can quickly have a listen to the ATIS 12807. .1030, 1030, so it stayed the same. Okay, information November. Heathrow Director, good evening. Shuttle 17 Juliet, Bovington 1 Bravo, descending through flight level 137, down to flight level 80, level by Bovington. We're ahead of the Airbus A330, and we have information Delta. Correction, November. Fly heading 170 degrees, Shamrock 17 Juliet. My RT procedure is absolutely rubbish as of late. And it looks like we're cutting quite a sizable corner here. Now, I actually want to get the aircraft down a little bit quicker, so I'm going to go with optimum descent. 10 flight level 7017 Juliet. Now, it's also at this stage of the flight to say that if you've got any charts, make sure you do have those ready. Especially somewhere like Heathrow, where it can be quite busy and disorientating. So, how long have we got left to run? About 26, 27 miles. So as you can actually see, we are actually quite high at the moment. So let's put our speed brakes out again. It should help us slow down a bit, because I want to get the aircraft down ASAP. I'd rather be too low than too high in this particular instance.
Auto brakes.
Low.
Passing
Lights
10,000
on.
feet. On. Cabin sign.
Now, as you can see, they've
Set.
actually turned on the landing system for us, or the landing display even, because this is actually what's going to bring up your ILS information. So if you are using the ILS, make sure ILS is selected. And then of course the virtual crew will do that for you. Alright, I'm happy with that. Right, for some odd reason it's remaining off. We can't select descent, we can only have optimum descent.
Approach checklist.
Down to 5,000 feet, you're on H310 17 Juliet.
Decam status.
Okay, 1030 set, 5,000 feet.
Stowed.
Stowed. Cabin signs.
Checked.
Nav accuracy.
And in that situation, all that's
Checked.
happened is your seatbelts have gone from auto
Checked.
to on.
1
Now,
0
some airlines like
3.
EasyJet, they just leave it on
Stereo
auto.
lights. 1, 3.
Then, of course, they don't fly
Set
A330s.
Checklist complete.
Super. And as it says here, we need to manually activate the MCDU approach phase. It's very important
Flight
that you do that,
attendants, prepare for landing.
2000.
because otherwise if you
Transition
don't,
altitude.
if you actually have a look there now with the speed, that
Check.
the speed won't come down unless you don't do that.
1030.
But then generally I want to keep high
1080.
speed, especially here at Heathrow. So I'm going to ask for 180 knots and we'll start putting the flaps out. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we'll give it, put a bit of speed brakes out, give it a bit of a hand, but once we're about on the green dot there, I'm going to, so about just below 210, I'm going to get rid of the speed brakes. It's a bad habit for the 737 because you really shouldn't have your speed brakes out with your flaps.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
Down at 3,000, 17 Juliet. Okay, well that's for 3,000 feet, that is set. We do seem to be a little bit high here. Bit of a lag spike there. Now just in case you are, do forget what your flap speeds are, you can come here, because I'll tell you them that. So at the moment we've got flaps 1, I'm going to look for 190 for flaps 2. Alright, I'm going to bring the speed back now, all the way back. But we still need to keep the descent going, so we'll look for... And the throttle's on idle, yep. We can give it a bash, 17 Juliet. Left heading 120 degrees, once established, send on the glide, 17 Juliet. You see there, we're going down quite nicely now. Okay, we're going to
Localizer
engage a
captured.
lock so we can pick up the localizer. Left heading 050, once established, descend on the glide, Shamrock 17 Juliet. Okay, so I'm going to have to cheat a bit here, I'm going to have to use the speed brakes to help us out. Okay, I'm going to drop the gear.
Gear down.
Down at 2,500, Shamrock 17 Juliet. Okay, now the reason I'm putting the gear down, it should help with drag. The airplane is reluctant to slow down.
1000.
This is partly why it's important that you have that deceleration point. So you see there, we're on the glide.
Second autopilot is on.
And Shamrock 17 Juliet, we're fully established on the glide. Tower 1185, Shamrock 17 Juliet.
2,500.
Now the speed should start to go back, but it's not liking it at all, is it? Now if we go flaps 2, we're just going to start overspeeding. Now, this is no good. Heathrow Director, apologies, Shamrock 17 Juliet, we're going around. Left 360
Roger,
Shamrock
flaps.
17 Juliet. Okay, we'll bring the flaps up.
Positive.
3000 heading 360 17 Juliet. Right. Quite simply, we'll bring the flaps, we'll leave those at position 1. Unfortunately, that's what can happen sometimes. So, heading, level climb, check. 3000 feet is set. Now, unfortunately, the problem we had with that is we just did not have time to slow down. As you can see here, we're starting to overspeed, so we'll bring the flaps up. And the speed has just decided to go mental. So we'll put it back to climb. Left 275, Shamrock 17 Juliet.
Captain, we have a speed limit of 250 knots.
Sorry, say again, 17 Juliet? The speed was too high and we couldn't slow it down at all. It was about 200 knots. Okay, so I'm actually going to bring the speed now, because we are in level flight. I'm going to bring the speed back now to about 180. And Heathrow Shamrock 17 Juliet. What I'd like to do now is reduce speed back to approximately 190 knots. That should avoid us having the same problem the next time. Thank you. We'll go back to 180 knots. Shamrock 17 Juliet. Right, so we'll go flaps 1. We can actually go flaps 2 now. We'll look for 180 knots. Right, we'll rearm the speed brakes and we can try that one again. Well then, I do have to point out that the Airbus A330 can be quite a difficult plane to slow down, so it is important that you do take that into consideration. Now, it's likely that, I was going to say, we want to leave the altitude selector thing on 100, because that is what's likely is going to happen. Left 180, 17 Juliet. Hopefully I've not broken the checklist. Because it can very easily be broken, and I probably have done. It might restart on landing, but then it might not. Okay, got Windsor Castle there. Left 120, once established, we'll descend on the glide. Shamrock 17 Juliet. Okay, so I can actually explain what I'm doing now. Localizer, quite simply, once the aircraft's picked up the localizer, it'll fly on that. All you simply need to do is hit lock. Now at the moment the aircraft has not picked it up, so that's what it's actually doing at the moment. So that blue there sort of means it's on standby. Once it's alive, it'll come up with lock. And this will actually engage the glide slope function as well as lock the APPR mode. But then you need to make sure that the second order pilot is on. So as you can see there, The aircraft's picked up the localizer, so she's going to be following that in. Just looking for the glide now. Okay, we're going to let the speed come back now. And that's actually going up. We don't want that. We're going to bring it back, and we might just need to reactivate there. There we go. We just need to reactivate the approach phase. Watch us start to struggle to slow down again. Alright, we'll go gear down. And I think we are actually. Okay, we're starting to slow down nicely now, so we can have flaps free at speed 186. Right, we'll go flaps free. And flaps full can go in at 180. Like I say, this is just to help us slow down. So we're fully established at 7 miles. Now I'm going to bring it over to the LS mode. Quite like this mode. It's a lot more visual, especially when using the instrument landing system. Tower 1185, thank you very much for your help, Shamrock 17 Juliet. If Tower, good evening, Shamrock 17 Juliet, heavy Airbus A330, fully established, ILS 09 left, 5 miles. So 9 left, clear to land, Shamrock 17 Juliet. Right, my frames are not the best, but it's not the worst. Now at this point on, I'm actually going to leave the autopilot on just that little bit longer, but it's up to you when you want to take it out. We've got good visibility, so we really shouldn't have too many problems with it. And like I say, we're going to be using a low auto brake today because airlingers, they usually park around here on the what was it may be referred to in the future, Heathrow East Terminal, or ideally Terminal 2. I'll say they're going to rename all these, so T5 will be west, T4 will be south, T2 and T3 will be east, and then hopefully the new terminal, which will be here, will be the north one. It's a different spin. Right, enough chatting, autopilot off, I have control. Now another thing you don't have to do is you don't have to touch the throttles at all. I personally don't like to until the retard call comes out, at which point I'll take the power off if I'm happy with the aircraft pitch.
$500. 400. 300. 100 above.
Glide slow.
See there, we're getting off the glide slope a little bit.
Glide slow.
Now one of the things you have to keep in mind about the A330 is that there is sort of a delayed input response. And we'll continue with that. And I'm being very gentle on the controls.
Glide slow. Glide slow.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard 10. 5.
There we go, we're down. Bring the reversers out. So speed brakes up. Reverse green, decel. We'll look for 70 knots and we'll go manual braking. So we should be able to get off here with very little problems. So we'll go manual braking, get rid of the reverse, apply taxi power, and we'll stop the clock. So overall, a good landing into Heathrow this evening. Okay, so what's this? Is this Alpha 9? Alpha 8. And Shamrock 17 Juliet is clearing onto Alpha 8. Onto Bravo, we'll hold shut of Foxtrot 17 Juliet. Okay, so this next one here is Bravo, I believe. Yes, it is. I was going to say, from memory, that one's Alpha. And we'll look for Foxtrot. Now, we have touched down, and unfortunately, the checklist has decided to quit on us. So I'm actually going to power up the APU. And we'll also need to turn off the transponder. And we'll also need to get rid of the landing lights and the strobes as required. So flight time today, 52 minutes. Yeah, 52 minutes, 32 seconds. Right, and the flaps are still out. Okay, we'll get those up. What about the speed brakes? Okay, they're up. Like I say, it's always helpful when you have a interactive crew to help you out there, but they just didn't seem to like the fact that we did a go around there. No matter. Right, we can also take off the flight directors and the landing, the LS function as well. Let's make sure we've not forgot anything. No, we've not. Now, if you want to do this, I do this on some planes. I'll actually turn off the generators. But for me on Airbuses, I just tend to leave the switches as is. And I'll tell you what I will do. I will actually monitor the gear. Where's the landing gear? Ah, there we go, wheel. Now as you can see, there's a little bit hot, and they're slightly going to get a little bit hotter with me taxiing about the place. So I'm actually going to turn on the brake fans. And we've got no brake fans. But either way, that is something you do need to be mindful of, is your tyre temperature. Okay, so that there is Lima. Not too sure where Kilo is, but sure air traffic control would have pointed it out by now if we have gone wrong. Radar, because we don't need that. Like I say, usually the interactive crew will do all this for you. Now I kind of do like it and I kind of don't, because you know, with the interactive crew it's a lot more realistic from a overall flying perspective, you know, from an overall authentic commercial airliner experience, you know, because one person focuses on the flying, the other focuses on setting the systems and so on and so forth. But I would say it can be a bit lazy as well, because ideally you need to know how to do both, and with this system it only really allows you to fly the plane. Like, you can't set the systems and the other pilot can fly, which is a little bit more realistic. One of those weird things. Crap. I've definitely gone wrong here, I think. Yeah, I think I've taken a wrong turn here somewhere. But then, like I say, I am not all that, surprisingly, I'm not all that familiar when it comes to Heathrow. So at the moment, yeah, I've definitely taken a wrong turn here. Ground Shamrock 17 Juliet. Ground 1217 Shamrock 17 Juliet. Confirm 128.9er. Okay, 1219er. Okay, 1219er, thanks 17 Juliet. Heathrow ground, good evening, it's the Shamrock 17 Juliet. We're currently on Bravo, holding short, Bravo 1. I was going to say, it's more... Oh, look, speed brakes. Bravo, stand 221, Shamrock 17 Juliet. Right, so we can get moving now. Brakes got her off. And we'll look for 221. We can't take 221. Let me have a look. I don't know if 221 is actually applicable for us. No, it's not. I might have to go on 238. I think that would be a bit more applicable. Actually, no. We'll go on that stand, and I'll just do some editing with GSX very quickly. So GSX, customize airport positions. Two two one. Right, I'm not too sure who does the handling, but we'll just have Dinah to do it, why not? So it just makes life a little bit easier. Okay, what's that? Is that a cargo lux? Oh, it is. I think they're on the... I think they position themselves wrong on those stands. I think you're meant to be facing the other way. I've got no idea how they park on them, though, unless... unless they have to shut down and they have to get pushed in. Okay, so our stand should be here on the right-hand side. So, taxi turns, got her off, as well as the nose light. APU is running, so it means we can shut the engines right down. Start braking a bit. Now, this is not the easiest turn in the world. So just say Teagle. Okay, left a bit. Oh, Chicago. Okay, now I'm following the Agnes, the docking system there rather than GSX. Right, so shut down the engines and we should get some information about our landing, like so. Well, we'll review that in just a moment. 163 feet, slightly heavy, but otherwise okay. It's important you don't land these planes too soft because that can be problematic. Right, engines are coming off. Beacon lights, they'll go to off. I'm happy to call for deboarding. We'll have Dinata do it. Be more applicable maybe for BA, but actually that can go off as well. But it doesn't really matter too much, I don't think, what handling we use on flight simulators. Right, so fuel pumps, they can go to off. Now, if you're shutting the plane down entirely, but I'm not doing that because I'm actually going to do the return to Dublin. You can go ahead, you can turn off your ideas if you want to. And let me just get some dome lights on, just so we can see what we're doing here. So, that's pretty much it, basically. We just need to get the jetway on the airplane. Looks like it's coming in door 1 left today. That's basically it. So, I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial series, certainly as much as I've done making them. I certainly hope that you found the information useful, and do not forget to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And it just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.